Hey everyone, welcome to the new series, The Power of the Cross, Part 1 with Pastor Nice. Get ready to dive into the teachings of Power of the Cross. Join us on this exciting journey and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with all our latest videos.
Hello. We are starting on the new series on the power of the cross. The power of the cross. Unless we don't understand the cross, how it happened and why it happened, we will lose out, and the devil will take advantage of us. The power of the cross. In actual fact, the power of the cross has to be preached daily, because when you speak of the cross, you are announcing the victory of a believer, the victory of Christ over sin, over death, over curse, over hell. But when you don't preach the cross, you actually are defeated, because there is power of the cross. And that's what I want to share with you. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 18. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 18. The preaching the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us it's power. The preaching of the message of the cross, the power is in preaching the message, but the message is foolishness. God has hid his power in things which are foolish, and yet to us it's power. So the preaching of the message of the cross is power to us. Power to overcome sin. Power to overcome devils. Power to overcome the world. The cross is a symbol of Jesus' crucifixion, his death, his resurrection, and the shedding of the blood on the mercy seat. Jesus was crucified. Jesus died. Jesus was buried and he went to hell. Jesus rose from the dead. And Jesus went before God, or appeared before God, to shed his blood. But remember, here, when he took up his body, the body had no blood. But his appearance, according to Ephesians 2:18, he appeared in spirit. And we also go before God through the Spirit, because the whole New Testament is all spiritual. There is no need of anything physical in the New Testament, starting from the lamp. The lamp came from God. Everything, the blood is the blood of God. And when he rose from the dead, he went to the temple in heaven, not earthly. Everything is heavenly. And that's why we need to believe in the Spirit, because we don't use anything physical. And so the cross is the symbol of the finished work of God, where he came to do away with sin, curse, death, and judgment. He came to blot, to remit, to take away sin on behalf of us. Hebrews 10 verse 12. He did it once. In actual fact, when he died, he identified with us in our state of sin. He identified with us. And when he rose from the dead, we identify with him. So, he died once for all times. He became one sacrifice, which works all times, which works yesterday, today, and forever. And not only that, when he has done this work of the cross, he also became a high priest, because sin is dealt with by the high priest, not the believer. No, you don't deal with the sin. You and I, we were dead. A dead man cannot save himself. And that's why the Bible says that he is faithful and he does it to the end. He will finish it. And he also became a high priest. Hebrews 7:25. He is ever living to intercede for my sins. Because as a human being who is mortal, I'm still putting on mortal body. I sin through my eyes. I sin through my mind. I sin through my mouth. I sin through my actions. This does not give me passport to sin. No. Once I receive Jesus, I have the nature of righteousness. And this nature of righteousness teaches me to say no to sin. But whilst you are still in this body, you get angry, and that's sin. And he ever lives to intercede for me. He ever lives to pray for me concerning sin. 1 John chapter 2, verse 1 to 2. The Bible says, my little children, do not sin. But if you sin, you have to know that you have got an advocate. He is a high priest. He is a lawyer. He is an intercessor for me. So I don't even need to think about sin, because Jesus has done it away for me. All I need is to think of doing the work of God, to think of other people, to love other people, to preach the message of the forgiveness of sins, to preach the message of the cross, which is the gospel. Romans 1:16, I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it is the power of God unto salvation. So the gospel, the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus is that message of the cross. Is that message of the cross. And therefore, the cross is a work which Jesus did on behalf of us all. And when the time of him to die, the time which you call the conflict of redemption, when it arrived in the Garden of Gethsemane, he was kissed as a way of selling him out, as a way of identifying him. And they identified him. He was arrested and was taken to Galicanto, in the prison, in a pit, by the Pharisees, the religious people. There, on Thursday night, he was praying Psalms 88. Outside the jail, Peter was denying Christ 3 times. And that's why the place is called Galicanto, the cock which crowed. Jesus was rejected by his acquaintances, your friends who reject you. He was rejected, and that was the start of his sufferings. And when he was taken out, he was handed to Pilate, and they chose to crucify Jesus. And they took him, beating him, taking him to the cross. outside the city, where everyone would look at him and feel shame of him. And when he was there on the cross, the Bible says from Isaiah 9 verse 6, unto